Today, July 15, 1:58 in Macon, Georgia, standing in front of the federal courthouse, wherein questions will be raised about the Honorable Judge Robert S. Reeves and his handling of Gordon Mayor, Marianne Whipple, removal from office for 60 days. Some call it a temporary restraining order, but some of us call it weakening the vote in the state of Georgia. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. This is Bobby Worthy, and he's the one that's been cutting a lot of videos, asking a lot of questions, and he's going into the federal court. What do you hope to accomplish today, brother, as you go in?
I hope to have some answers for an arrest warrant for these two criminals, Judge Reeves and Edie. That's what I'm hoping for. They need to be punished for the crimes they committed. So.
Why do you call them criminals? Have they been proven guilty in the court of law? Why do you use that term?
They call us criminals if we get convicted, if we get just charged with a crime. So I guess I return the favor.
What do you feel like give you the qualifications to go in here and do what you do against a Superior Court judge?
Yeah, well, my qualifications is I hate injustice. I'm a citizen of the United States and a resident of Georgia, so I have that right according to the Constitution.
Okay. What do you hope to expect today?
I hope to expect the judge rule in my favor.
And what would that be under ideal circumstances as you see it and want it to be?
Have a hearing to see criminal charges brought against me.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. And you are separate from, or are you in support of the mayor, or what?
Separate and in support of.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Once again, that is Bobby Worthy, Justice League United. We're at the Federal Court Building here in Macon, Georgia. And this is the Ghetto Free Press. We do this because we want you informed.
Yeah, we came to see how
Things we're going to go today, yeah.
Yeah, what you're going to be able to get done.
We hopefully get something done.
I hope you do.
If not,
Mr. Worthy, what are you doing here today? Tell us a little bit.
answer two criminal complaints. I filed two criminal complaints against the Judge Robert Reeves and Terry Edie in federal court. Well, today is about Judge Robert Reeves and Teddy Edie, Mayor Pro Tem of Gordon, Georgia, overstepping their bounds to illegally remove an elected official. More than, to be more specific, violation of U.S. Title 18, Section 241, which is conspiracy against one's rights. When two or more persons come together to deprive you of a right that's secured by the United States Constitution is a federal offense that carries 10 years imprisonment. So often we see these judges get away with this all the time to do this. I'm not going to let this happen in this case. On June the 2nd, he issued a TRO against Mayor Marianne Whipple, Gordon Mayor, and denied her due process 14th Amendment right by not allowing her hearing. Her attorney was notified an hour and a half before trial that they had to be there. The second went on July 2nd, July 3rd was the same way. So I took two complaints for conspiracy against the rights against Terry Edie and Judge Robert Reeves for conspiracy, basically denying her due process of law. And this is what judges got to understand these days. You got to start holding these judges accountable for what they do. There's no judge in this country higher than the Constitution, and this is where these judges are going. The Constitution is supreme and governing law of the land. It is supreme law of the land. No one has authority arms to reach that high over it, not even the President of the United States. So these little local Superior Court judges and state court judges do this all the time, all over the state, all over the country. I have been to Virginia, D.C., all over the place, and they all are doing the same thing because they seem to think they have absolute immunity. No one in this country has absolute immunity over the Constitution when you violate the law, especially when you sign an oath of office to support those laws and Constitution. The judge overstepped his bounds. He has, by Georgia law, he has a right to temporarily remove a mayor, to do a TRO on the mayor, but he has no authority to remove her powers as an elected official. His arms don't reach that high. As I said before, there's only 3 ways in this country to remove an elected official. That's through a recall vote by the citizens that put her in office, or through the governors to remove her, or she has been indicted for an alleged crime by the grand jury. That is the only authority. So I came to the federal courts to seek punishment for the federal crime that they violated. I haven't begun to go to state court level yet. But yesterday we went to file 63 complaints with the Judicial Qualification Commission. Unfortunately, we couldn't find the Judicial Qualification Commission. It was not at the address there, so we mailed these out. 63 complaints today to the Judicial Qualification Commission to immediately remove Robert Reeves from office for the crimes that he had committed against the citizens of Gordon and the mayor of Gordon. And like I said, I don't care what the judge say. I really don't care what the judge's mama say. Mayor Whipple is still the mayor. He overstepped his bounds. The law is clear. The law says when any public official acts where they have no jurisdiction, they commit treason to this country, they shall be tried and punished.
What role is Ms. Whipple playing in your action today?
Well, as CEO and founder of Justice League United, I'm acting on my own. I'm in support of her. I do not have to have anyone's permission to attack injustice. This is why I'm here. I'm here to attack injustice. I don't go around getting support, but we have talked, and I'm in support of anything that her attorney does. I'm in support of her attorney. I think he's handling the case like he's supposed to. But I'm doing my job, what I was put here to do.
Are you an attorney?
No.
No?
No, sir.
A question I have is the title that you're stating that he's violating, and you're saying that, I believe in that title, summarizing it, you cannot impound on someone's rights by threatening them, injuring them, etc., etc. What do you believe the judge has done underneath that title?
Well, it's up to the judge. As you know, it's their court. They rule the way they want to rule. I'm hoping he at least take time to review everything before he make a decision. That would be the right thing to do, but if he ruling against me, then I'll take it to the next level. I'm not going to stop. I will see Judge Robert Reeves punished for the crimes he has committed.
And can you, in the press release, you state what crimes he should be punished for. Can you reiterate them?
The crimes are violation of his oath of office. That's at the state level now. The conspiracy here at the federal level. That's 2 different things. At the state level, treason. Violation of his oath of office and conspiracy at the state level. And to deprive a person of right. Because you got a conspiracy at the federal level, you got a conspiracy at the state level. So definitely in violation of his oath of office and treason. Because he acted the way he had no jurisdiction.
And I understand that you're trying to charge Terry Eady as well?
Yes, because when 2 or more people come together, the law says when 2 or more people come together to deprive a person of a right that's secured by the United States Constitution, is a federal offense that carries 10 years in prison.
How do you know that Terry Eady has came together?
He is the one that initiated everything. His name is on all the paperwork. And I've discovered there's others on the paperwork, so it might be some more criminal complaints coming.
A quick question, just so I understand completely. The title that you're talking about, can you repeat the title again?
U.S. Title 18, Section 241.
And in that title it states to not take away a person's rights. What right did they take away?
With due process. They didn't. On June 2nd, the June 2nd at the first TRO hearing, he did not allow the attorney enough time to come to court. An hour and a half before court, he initiated the hearing without having them there. Due process. You can't try anyone with them not being in the hearing in their court case.
Thank you.
Are y'all having a rally afterwards?
Yes, people are coming now.
I should know.
Where's the rally going to be here?
What's up today, brother?
Oh, good. How's everything going with you?
What's going on here today?
Hope is to be a blessed one today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I enjoyed those comments earlier that you gave at one of the rallies. What brings you here today?
In support of having the judge, you know, I feel that he made a decision he shouldn't have made, so he should be reprimanded. So I'm in support of having that done, because you're supposed to give every individual their fair share to prove themselves innocent. You know, but the way the judge looked like he getting people guilty before they even had a trial to say they're innocent.
Yes, sir. And how long did it take him? Because you was you at that hearing?
No,
you wasn't
I wasn't at it.
Okay.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, any closing remarks you would like to give?
More than anything is just we hope that everyone will just keep an open mind and see how this is going to fare out, because the mayor has all rights. She was elected by the citizens, and she has a right to, you know, serve her term. And more than anything, though, I like to give thanks to you for getting the word out, because a lot of men don't take the time and do the sacrifices that you do. But I want you to know that you appreciate it on my part, and the supporters that we have. We just like to thank you and let you know that we love you, and keep doing what you're doing, because we as black people should know that we have somebody out here that will fight for us.
Thank you very much. And once again, this is what's your name again?
Elijah Simmons.
Thank you, my brother. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. I'm going in, but right now I got to go to the car, drop this camera off. As you know, this is a federal building. Bye-bye, we're gone.
Alright, so the judge dismissed the case. Now what?
Once he signed it, well, I expected this. I really expected him not to rule on that. I don't think they're going to rule against the judge, no way. Once the judge signed the case number to the thing, he said he'll sign the case, and once he signed it, I'll take it to the next level. I'm not going to stop. I'll take it over to the U.S. Supreme Court if I have to. I understand his arguments about in the name of the United States court, but that's their form they came up with. That's the form that they got for us to use, then they need to change the form.
And he advised that you talk to the U.S. Attorney. Do you plan to do that?
I'll file a complaint with the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI, the local FBI. I'll file that with them, but I'm still going to take it to the next level, because they're not going to do nothing no way. You know, in our society, if we can just violate laws because we're a public official, no matter how high or low, then there can never be true justice in our society, and then we will all be lost. A lot of people like to talk about a race thing, or a white thing, a black thing, but it's not about that, because my mother's white, my father's black. I care nothing about what a man's color or a woman's color is. I care about injustice and making sure people be punished for the injustice, especially public officials.
When are you going to contact the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI?
I'll do a press release on it and get it to y'all. I got to wait. I don't know. It depends on how quick the judge signs the case number. Once you sign the case number, so they'll have something to reference to, then I'll move it to the next level.
You expected this decision. Why did you take this approach?
Man, they let them know I'm not playing. I'm not going to. I always expect the unexpected, put it that way. I learned in this business, always expect the unexpected. I've read case laws that support what I'm doing, and he has some case laws that support that I can't do. But the supreme law of the land says I can do it. So your law, your procedure means nothing when it comes to the Constitution. It is governed in the supreme law of the land, and it says any citizen have a right to take out a complaint.
Do you think the judge was fair?
Oh yeah, I think he was fair. He was very honorable. More than likely, he was not arrogant like most judges is. You've probably seen Robert Reeves on the stand. You can see the arrogance in a judge, but he had no arrogance. He showed no emotions whatsoever. He just came out and did his job and went on.
Can you just reiterate why he dismissed the case?
Well, he said, in the name of the United States, no private citizen have a right to take out a criminal complaint. But those forms are what you give us to take out. If a private citizen doesn't have a right to take out a criminal complaint in the name of the United States, then change the form and put the citizen instead of the United States. Even in Georgia, in Georgia courts, when you take out a warrant in magistrate court, it says the state of Georgia. It does not say a citizen. It says the state of Georgia. So it all works the same. It's just the judge. It's his court. He ruled like he would. I mean, I respect this ruling, but I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to take it to the next level.
How do you feel about using taxpayers' dollars to have a case like this and then just have it dismissed like that? I mean, you don't feel bad because you use taxpayers' money to do this? Why didn't he just shut you down and tell you that you couldn't do it prior to coming to court and using taxpayers' dollars?
To make a point. That's more than likely, that's probably what he did, to make a point that I can't do this, and that's, you know what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with him using taxpayer dollars if it's for the right thing. I think this was for the right reason, but he could have shut it down at the beginning before he even did all this. So.
Okay, isn't there other cases that the federal shoot down these type of cases before they get there? Isn't that part of the routine? I know it's up to his discretion.
Yes.
It seems kind of weird.
Well, the day I filed it, the very next day he set up a hearing. He called me the very next morning with a clerk report and said the judge scheduled you for a hearing on the 15th. Why the judge wanted to hear this case, I don't know. That's his decision. Maybe he wanted the people to know, because he probably thought the press was probably going to be him. Maybe he wanted the people to know that, hey, you can't do it this way. I don't know. That's on him. But I say I can do it this way. I mean, because if I did anything wrong, they'd have never heard it in the first place.
Did I understand you correctly in saying that you don't have a lot of faith that you're going to say something to the FBI and to the U.S. Attorney's
Yes,
office,
I will. I will do what the judge said. I mean, in format, he set out the format for me to redo. I mean, and that's fine with me. So, and I don't mind doing it that way, long as the alternate goes like she to the next level. So now the next one is the state court. Like I said, we're waiting to hear from the Judicial Qualification Commission to immediately have Judge Reed removed from office. They should get those complaints in a few days.
And you mailed those?
We mailed them because we went up there and we could not find the Judicial Qualification Commission. For some reason, it doesn't exist. I sent y'all the pictures of the building they said it was in. Did y'all get it?
Did you knock on the door there?
Yeah, we went in the office. Go to Boston G.B.R. and his website. Write it down, Boston G.B.R. and you can see the video that we cut at the building. And I talked to the Chief Judge Pryor. Chief Judge Pryor told me, said that it's behind the bank, the SunTrust Bank in Madison, Georgia, in the back of the building. We went to the back of the building. There's no sign that the Judicial Qualification Commission was ever there or existed. We went inside the building. We recorded all the names on the doors. We recorded on the back. You would think a constitutional agency would have an office. That the Judicial Qualification Commission is a constitutional office. And you would think they would have an office that a citizen in an open government can walk in and file complaints.
About how many people have had with you here today?
By 8.
From what groups?
From NAN, Concerned Citizens, and me, of course.
All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'll send y'all the press release and everything, the next level, and a copy of it.
So if you could start, but tell me your name and where you're from, and just saying that we have permission to record this.
Okay. named Wayne Watson. I'm from Monroe, Georgia. I left here in 78. I come back in 93.
Okay.
And y'all got permission to record.
So if you could just tell me the one by one the names of the people that you know are still alive, their approximate age, and what you know about their involvement on the bridge in 1946 with the lynching on the Morse Ford Bridge.
Okay, Charlie Peppers, that's my uncle, and he ought to be about 85 or 86. He was the youngest one in the family. And all through my life, all I heard them talk about the Morse Ford and the lynching and stuff, and I lived around it in Campton. And I come back in 93, I started hanging around and I said, I'm going to see what I can do about all this. And every day I made documents. I wrote it down, and he talked about how the woman, I think he was laughing. He said, well, the people thought the woman was pregnant by a black man. So the husband was in the military, and she was pregnant by a white man. And he said, Wayne, they cut the baby out, washed the baby off in the creek, and put it up for adoption in Atlanta. I said, no, they didn't either. He said, yes, they did. So you don't call me a blank liar unless you was there like I was. Who was the white man that she was reportedly had the affair with, whose baby she had? Hester. It was Hester. He told me I'll get the man. What's Hester's first name? I think it's Barry. Okay. But Lord. And he's from Hestertown, is that right? Right. Yes. And who else is still living besides Mr. Pepper? You got a number of them. I got another uncle named Earl Royster. He's a member of the Klan. You got the members. And Mr. Royster, and that's Royster? Yes, sir. Earl Royster, you said he's a member of the Klan, and he was also on the bridge that night? Right, because he's about the same age as my uncle, Charlie. Okay. He's my uncle, too. You got a lot of them back in 93 when I come here. You had a bunch of them still alive, and everything like John F. Moore, Jack Smith, Breedlove, Iron Breedlove. These men used to talk about it? They was in a meeting. I remember them years ago when people talked about who was all the members and everything. The what kind of meeting? They had a KKK meeting at the courthouse. A lot of people don't understand. When that torch got lit, the KKK lit it. But they end up putting that other stuff on it to cover up for what they done. They had a election where you join a membership drive and everything. And back then, I remember Franklin Thornton, Sorrells, Ronnie Sorrell, all of them there. I remember the voices because it's in my head and everything. Neil Jackson, Harry Arnold, Sr. There's a Jimmy Davis live over there in Madison. He's still alive. He runs a pawn shop, and he got a patch over his eye. His name is Jimmy Madison? Davis. He works at Madison. Okay, Jimmy Davis. Right. The town of Madison. He works at the pawn shop. And he works at a pawn shop. Do you know the name of the pawn shop? It's right there like going toward Edenton, Everton. It's on the left back in the shopping center. All right. Which road is that shopping center on? I don't know what name that highway. I just know direction when I go there. You said that he has a patch over his eye? 441? Right. It's not Highway 441? You go to back to I-20. Okay.
Highway 441 runs from Madison to Edenton.
You know where you go to Madison, you take a right, and then you go out, you stay on that road and go to the hospital. Like you bear off to your left, right there. You go about a half a mile. 278. 278, right.
Yeah, that's Highway 278.
There's a tire center right down on your left, and then there's a pawn shop right down on your left.
That's Highway 278.
And there's a man there with a patch over his eye named Jimmy Davis.
Right.
And he was on that bridge as well.
Yes.
Who else?
I know them two was there because those one my uncle talked about. He always talked about Earl Royster. And when I was a kid, they always talked about the lynch and everything. But those are one alive that I know the name for sure.
Okay.
All right, now the one that was dead years ago, it was a James McIntyre. He was a member of the KKK. He was involved in hanging the boy over there, Cover Bridge. There was a tree out there. He hung him out there and everything. But he's dead. Junior Parker, though, is still alive. He's a member of the KKK. His daddy is dead and everything, but he's a member.
And Mr. Parker, was he on the bridge as well?
Well, nobody said it, but he's a member of the KKK.
How old is he?
He's probably about 83. He's about the same age as my uncle and everything. And you got they got a book out there that Brooks man supposedly wrote and everything. He talked about things, but a lot of that in their lives because they didn't mention all the names in Walden County.
Right.
You got the Christians, they KKK member. Over there, Gradis, you got a man named Vivian Allen. He probably old enough to be there, but he don't talk about it. But he married, these people sort of married into a group. Vivian Allen, he married to Neil Jackson's sister, I believe. Ira Breedlove was married to one of his sisters. Harry Brown is married to a Jackson. They all kind of married into the family like that. And I recall when I come back in '93, there was a man named Gary Spink who was to testify against these people for tax evasion. And next thing you know, he was over there on a tractor, and supposedly Neil Jackson found a tractor on top of him with a bush hog run over. But this man been doing farm work all his life. He knows better what to do and nothing like that. You have Miller out there, Grady. He lived right next to Robert Mitchell and everything. He was a member because I always used to work for Robert Mitchell, and people would talk about who's members of the KKK and everything. They get together. Neil Jackson's still a member. He claims he ain't, but he is and everything. You've got a lot of members here, and now they're getting quiet about it because when I went to that Sergeant Ferguson and gave him the name, in '93 I was talking to Mike Pearson. Mike Pearson was a G.B.R. I made statements to him, and he was trying to arrest Franklin Thornton, indict Franklin Thornton and Homer Reed for some stuff, and all of a sudden they had heart attacks and died. Palmer, they involved Lamar Palmer. He runs in that group and everything. But had nobody told me he was there, but I remember him at the meeting with the plaintiff.
So you gave your documentation to Mr. Ferguson, to Sergeant Ferguson?
Right. Here lately, the last 8 years, but back in '93 and '94, I went to a Mike Pearson.
Did you keep keep a copy of your documentation?
No. I had a lot of paperwork in my trailer, and when I sold it, they told me to get off the property. They went over there and took a lot of stuff. But
if we need to reach you, what's the best way to reach you?
Probably Mr. Howard. I'll stay in touch with him. I got a phone number, but they still monitor my calls.
Gotcha. So Mr. Howard knows how to reach you.
Yeah, I will make sure him.
Okay. And when was the last time that you went to a Klan meeting? How many years were you going to Klan meetings?
I remember that one time I went and everything, but when I lived out there, Gradis store,
yeah,
there was a guy there that was always putting things together named Montgomery. And his first name, I can't think of his first name right now. But he was always instigating stuff and talking about what they're going to do. And they even got together when Obama was running for office, president. They were talking about hiring a hitman. They got on the computer and having it killed. And Vivian Allen was always standing down there and talking to them. You had a Hernan, a plumber, that would always sit and talk to that group. There are a bunch of them, I didn't know the names, I didn't know the faces, but sometimes they have a meeting out there in the parking lot. They all sit around and drink beer and talk about what they're going to do. Sometimes they go to a Emmerich house. Like you go past Gradis store, the back way to Athens. There was an Emmerich live out there in the White House. On the left, he owned the farm. They go out there, his sons and everything, have a meeting right now. They say it's a party, but they all go out there and have a meeting, talk about what they're going to do. And when they found out that I was talking, so I guess Alan Cook, the DA, was trying to find out who knew about it, nothing like that. And evidently, my attorney told somebody or told him. Because next thing I know, everybody in Walden County knew I was the one that knew about the KKK, who's alive. And people tried to bribe me. I've been to prison, a detention center, and they offered me money. Robert Mitchell offered me $250,000 to keep my mouth shut and walk away in '99. I told him I wouldn't do it. He said, "You'll be dead before you ever testify." And there was a witness there named Larry Cole that I was at his house on Bryan Road when he called me. I got out of the detention center that night, and it wasn't an hour later, Robert Mitchell called me and told me that. And you just got Al Yarborough, he's a member of it. Most of the police, their families, their daddies, members, Mike Burt, nothing knew about it years ago. And his family, you got Shay. All these groups, they never did really talk about it, but other people talk about who were members and nothing like that around here.
Is there anything else? Is there anybody who claimed to have a weapon that was involved in the?
They don't talk about no weapons. Most of them around here, Charlie Pepper still got an old shotgun, I think. But even that house over there, Gladys, that they went over there near, the house belonged to Harry Arnold Jr. Terry Briscoe claimed he called the FBI. I was the one that called the FBI and told him about the house. Because he walked away, he had a bunch of guns. The Briscoes was involved. He had a bunch of, Glenn Briscoe had a sawed-off shotgun, and he never would go into detail. He said there's a reason he kept it all the years, and he kept it hid. I don't know where he got it or who ended up got it now. But like I said, my uncle got a shotgun about like that. You got a group. I worked at John Manville. I worked at Leggett and Platt. A lot of the white people that were members, because they always hated black people, they get talking about it. And they all had a sawed-off shotgun. Most of them did. But the old shotguns, I had some old pistols and everything I kept. I got rid of all of them. But old timers, the shotgun, most of them kept them, but they all pawned them. Because the old shotguns, they don't have no serial number on it and everything like that, so they can sell it to what they want to, and you can't trace them down. But Robert Mitchell used to have some old shotgun, but he traded with, back and forth to people. And I'll tell you somebody that might have, Ben Dinwiddie, the teacher over there in Social Circle. He used to be a gunsmith in Monroe. That man that run that hardware store in Social Circle, old man, he about 92 years old. I don't know if he's still alive or not. He used to talk about it. When I go in there.
Wiley?
Yeah, yeah. But
So Mr. Wiley used to talk about the Morse 4 lynching?
He'd get talk about the man that talking about it need to keep his mouth shut every time I went in the store. The Malcolms, they was involved. You got another man, possible he's still alive, that's Curtis McDougal, but he's about 92 or 93 years old, I think. And he's supposed to be in a nursing home in Atlanta. And you got the Griffin, which is, Curtis was married to Ruth McDougal, and she dead. But Ruth McDougal's mother was alive when they were Griffin. And her husband was a member of it, because I used to go over there and sit around there and talk about it. She had his suit and everything, what's called chest-like thing. And she gave it to a boy or a man named Greg Kinney. He had the Duke's outfit. And I saw it in 98.
Had whose outfit?
The Grand
Wizards.
Dragon.
Gotcha.
because this was in '99 when I got out of detention center. I went to live with this woman down there, and it was his brother that had the suit. And Mr. Griffin was his stepson, and he inherited nothing. And he had it out 2 or 3 times, holding it up, looking at it, nothing. And then you had a man, Steve Peters, used to be. I don't know if he got out of it. He was a member because he had the book back in December. And I kept telling Sergeant Ferguson that he had the book with all the information, all the names in it. And he gave it to a man named Randy Watkins. And they would hang around the store there and everything. But Sergeant Ferguson went back and told these people what I was doing. And Randy Watkins supposedly gave it to his son, who works at, I believe, the funeral home down here. His name is Tim. I believe he's supposed to be the coroner or do the fixing the body up. That's fine. But he's a Watkins.
Mr. Watson, I wrote down the names. I was trying to capture the names of the people who you said were still alive. I just want to make sure. I want to read these back to you and make sure that I got them. I got Roy Hester, Lloyd Harris, Chester Harris, Glenn Briscoe.
Glenn Briscoe, David.
David Briscoe.
No, he's dead.
Glenn's dead.
Okay. Jack Smith.
He's dead.
Earl Royster.
He's alive.
Harry Brown.
He's alive.
Curtis McDougal.
He should be alive. Last I heard, he was in a nursing home in Atlanta.
What about Judge Sackrell, was his last name? Sorrell.
He's still alive, as far as I know now. He might have passed away. No, he just resigned. But
Okay.
he's a member.
George Hearns.
He's still around.
Harry Arnold.
Junior's around. Senior, I think, Senior passed away, didn't he?
I don't know. There is a Harry Arnold, one of the wealthiest white men in this county.
Yeah, Harry Arnold might be still alive.
I don't know if he's junior, senior, or not. He's junior. He's junior? So he's a wealthy.
Senior dead.
I don't know.
Yeah, Senior dead. Junior, he's still alive.
And Junior, is he old enough to have been there? You think he was there?
Yes, I think he is.
And, Neil Jackson.
Yeah.
Jimmy Davis.
Jimmy Davis is alive, for sure.
And Junior Parker.
Junior Parker's alive.
Okay. Then there was a Baker, but it didn't have a first name.
Baker. George Baker. George Baker is dead, but George Baker Jr. is still alive. Everybody, when they passed away, they passed on everything to the kids. The books, everything goes to the kids. They automatically make a decision whether to be a member or not a member. But these people right here, back when I went forward, all of them was alive.
Remember you was talking about this book? You said you had notes and documents, but you gave it to somebody.
I gave it to Sergeant Ferguson.
He's still alive?
He's a young man, but he's supposed to be working for the city. I filed paperwork against him.
He was the one that told them what you were doing.
Yeah.
He's got the book. He took the book.
No, Jack Peters works at Peters Groceries. He the one that had the book. Steve Peters.
Your book.
I wrote it on
your
paper.
book?
I gave it to Sergeant Ferguson.
That's the one where you had detailed documentation.
Yeah, I wrote things down, and some of it I left it at home, and I went off and left it, and I know everything gone now because I went in there one day. I sold the place, and it was a trailer, and I went in there, and all the stuff people done went through and got everything they wanted.
Not the rest of the stuff in your house, but the book you had. Ferguson.
Your papers you gave to Ferguson.
I gave some of the paper to Ferguson.
And is he still on the force here?
They say he resigned. He's supposed to be working for the city, but I don't really know what they're doing because he says he's making more money now than he did before. And I knew about the lynch and everything. I was always going over there talking to him. He kept telling me to keep my mouth shut. There's another man runs a washateer. He drives a blue Cadillac. I remember him because when I left Ferguson's house, I can't think of his name, but he's old enough to be there. But I seen that little emblem. He's a veteran. But the KKK carried that little paper with an emblem like a marksmanship badge in their wallet, and that signified they were a member of the KKK also. And the military used it too, saying you're a veteran, but the KKK used it too on the little card.
And the why does this case bother you so much? I mean, you've had a lot of people ask you to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Why do you stay interested in it?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of, when you go through life, you living with lies, or you living with people talking about things that ain't a kid. And back in 92, I went through a divorce. My daughter got molested. My ex-wife, she started going back fooling with drugs and that thing. And I come back down here. I worked with the TPI up there in Tennessee. They finally caught the people. And I come back to Georgia, and they got to talk about the same old thing. They got to talk about my uncle got to talk about the mowers forward and them cutting the baby. And I started telling them I was dating an African-American woman. All my kin people disowned me. They told me not to ever come around them again. Said, we'll kill you. Said, if you ever bring that woman to our house, we'll kill her. And I said, well, I'll put a stop to this. And I started spending my own money and everything. I worked. I went around to people, listened to what they got to say. The drugs, I went to, people don't realize it. The local drug people like Mike Burt, and there was a Wolf, Randy Wolf used to be an investigator over there in Sparrow County. I went to him with drug information. None of the people never got busted. The Connors, Phil Connor never did get busted for drugs. None of them did. I went to the man's unit over there in Sparrow County and talked to them. Everybody started getting busted for the drugs. I went to East Metro here in 95 or 96, and they got the black whales, all them. And Keith Glass tried to take control of that claim. He brought them in. I was the one that went to East Metro. I met with Chris County. In 97 or 98, I got set up. I got charged with a criminal trespass. I made bond. A friend of mine made bond for me, which was $65. I had the ticket, criminal trespassing. When I told them to come get me, I said, they're going to come up with something. Next thing I know, he come pick me up. They turned around, locked me up, shipped me to Barrow County. I stayed down there in Barrow County for, I don't know, about 4 months. They claimed they had a bench warrant. I was shackled, handcuffed to a drain in the floor, naked. Had to eat like a dog. They went in there with a fire thing, washed me off all day. The only day I could make calls is when these rookies come in, like at 5 o'clock in the morning. They'd let me slip and make a call, and I called Robert Mitchell. They finally got me out where I could have a hearing.
And Keith Glass, the one that you mentioned, was the chief of police, and he was also in the Klan. Right.
He took over. Yeah, he was the keeper police. His daddy was the keeper Klan member.
So, are you motivated by your conscience, or are you motivated by what they've done to you because of this girl you was talking to?
I want it all over with. The racism, I mean, I've been on the street, and I told people I've dated a black woman and everything, and you can't get nothing. A white man goes around here and says he's dating a black woman or hanging around black people. You can't get no loan. You can't go to no bank, borrow money or nothing. They turn you down. And they make it excuses, but the money people right here, Robert Mitchell, Neil Jackson, Harry Arnold Jr., they own just about everything around here. And they still find out about that. You can't get no help around here.
Could I ask you, how old are you right now?
I'm 55.
55. And when this happened, how old were you?
I wasn't born. You talking about the mowers forward, right?
Okay. And the baby that was cut out and given for adoption, did anyone ever say who adopted the baby, where they sent the baby?
They took the baby to Atlanta. That's what my uncle told me. All the years, I remember every time I talked to him, he always said they cut the baby out, washed it off in the creek, somebody took it to Atlanta. See, I got a daddy that was older than Charlie, but he died in prison when I was 4 years old or something, Tim Watson. So he was mean enough because he was racist. He beat on my mama. I know that. So all these people live right around there, Morris Ford area. My uncle did.
So you don't, because now I'm kind of confused. I just want to be clear. You don't think that the baby was killed when they killed
No,
her?
they cut the baby out. I said the same thing. I told my uncle, I said, the woman wasn't even pregnant and everything, and the baby was killed. He cussed me, called me every name in the book. He said, don't call me a freaking liar, but he used the cuss word. He said, they cut the baby out, they washed it off in the creek and gave it to somebody, and they took it supposedly to Atlanta. He said, I'm not sure if they took it to Atlanta. All I know, they were supposed to take it to Atlanta.
And your uncle, his point was that he was there and he saw
That's
them
right.
do this.
That's right.
What was your uncle's name again?
Charlie Pepper.
Right, that's the point I got.
Now, there's another Charlie Pepper that one lived in Wine. This man right here lived on Double Spring Road, I believe, like north toward the reservoir, on the left, and he got coon dogs.
All right, so let's go through some of these folks. The ones who are alive, he's going to tell you the name, and you tell us if you know anything about where they live, where they work, where we can find them. All right.
Roy Hester.
I think he still lives on Hestertown Road over here, don't he?
There's a lot of Hesters out there, Hestertown. Big family of them.
Yeah,
well,
but Roy Hester would be about 80 in his late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah.
All right.
Lloyd Harris.
Lower Harris dead.
Okay.
Is that
Chester
Harrison?
Harris.
Chester Harris. I'm not. Is that one they got? One they call Claude. You got Claude Harris?
No, Claude it is.
Yeah. Claude's still alive, as far as I know.
And where does say Claude Harrison or Harrison?
Harris.
And Claude Harris
lives in Bethlehem, supposed to.
Okay.
George Baker.
George Baker dead.
George Baker Jr. rather. I'm sorry.
George Baker Jr. I think he's over one of the banks and everything. He's still around.
Bank here in Monroe.
He's in Monroe. George Baker Jr. in Monroe.
Jack Smith.
He's dead. Little Jack is still alive. So
I need to put the juniors in here. Jack Smith Jr. rather.
He lived going towards Social Circle. There's a road right before you get to the bridge. You take a right. He got a farm right down your left. I know where it's at, but
Harry Brown.
Harry Brown. I know where the filling station is. That Brown Oil Company. I see him every day. He's alive.
Curtis McDougal.
Curtis McDougal supposed to be in Atlanta. He was with his sister. He's supposed to be in a nursing home. You can go down there and talk to Shirley Richardson down there at Johnson Mobile Home Park, and she'll tell you which nursing home he's in.
Judge Sorrell.
Judge Sorrell is supposed to be still alive.
Where does he live?
He used to live when you go into town, the first second red light, you take a right.
Is it about
Yeah,
a
second
utility
red light.
building?
Yeah, you take a right, go back down on the left. He did live right
So
there.
he's still right in Monroe.
Yes.
Okay.
George Hearns.
George Hearns still alive.
You know where?
He's from Monroe. I don't know exactly where he lives.
Harry Arnold.
Junior's still alive. Senior's, I think senior dead.
Neil Jackson.
He's alive.
But where does he live? That's all for.
Neil Jackson live out there. You go to Campton. You take a right. And you stay on that road. You see, you go about 3 miles. You see a white fence and everything. He's got a little white house right down the right.
All right. So he's in the town of Campton.
He's what?
Which town is it?
Campton.
Campton.
But he got Neil Jackson Realty. He's the man
Okay.
right there.
Jimmy Davis.
Jimmy Davis, he's supposed to be live over there near the bridge, but he got that work at that pawn shop in Madison.
And then Junior Parker.
Junior Parker live in Campton. You go to Campton, you take a left, you go about 3 miles, and you'll see there'll be one one house here that was Arnie Parker lived. There's another house there that was Andy Abode lived, and then Junior got about the third or fourth house.
So Kevin, how many people do we have who are still alive?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
All right. It sounds like there's some work for the FBI to do. All right. Well, sure. And then let's wrap up.
Do you know Roy Holder?
Holder's still alive. I've seen him around, and I had never really talked to him, nothing like that. But he's associated with Neil Jackson, Robert Mitchell. They all buddy.
And Roy Holder, do you know that he was there? Have you heard he was there?
I can't say because this group, they just talk among themselves.
But the rest of the folks who we went through, those are folks that you've heard were there on the bridge.
Right. Now, there's a Bill Shea and a John Shea. John Shea is a junior, and he would always go to those meetings over there gratis with those boys over there.
The
he used to,
Klan meetings.
Right. Vivian Allen's still alive now. He's old enough to be there.
I see.
But I had never heard.
Right. But again, the rest of the folks, these folks who you heard were there.
Yeah.
It's enough for something to be down here.
Right.
Let me ask you also, did anyone else other than your uncle describe what happened on the bridge?
Well, he the only one I went around, but when I was a kid, when everybody walking around in the yard, Bob Royster, he was there and everything like that, but they all used to laugh and make fun of Earl Royster, all of them did when I was growing up.
And did you talk to any blacks that may have been hiding and witnessed it, or
the Blackwell, see, that's something else. The Blackwell lived over there next to it when it took place. But I was told that's the reason they become the biggest drug dealers in Walden County, because they knew information and they hid it. So the Blackwell, the police kept them, letting them do what they would do all the years. So the Blackwells now, they scared, and there's a Dexter Blackwell, he tried to claim he knew everything. But what he did, Sergeant Ferguson went to him and told him, because they was in jail, and each one of them got out of jail early because they knew supposedly the name, and I was the one that knew the name, but Sergeant Ferguson went and told them who it was so they could cut a deal and get out of prison. So they crooked.
Do you know of any Whiteheads or Palmers?
Yeah, Whitehead's still alive now. There's a Whitehead. He lives out there, Watkinsville. I mean.
But do you know that he was involved?
Yeah, because I won't forget, I used to play these slot machines. And if he's still alive, I can't think of his first name, but I go to Statham to play those slot machines. He used to come over there, and he told me he just got out of prison. That one just got out of prison. He served time for murdering somebody, but he got out. And he talked about he regretted everything he done and everything like that. And that was still something he needed to take care of. So I don't know if he's still alive or not.
But he talked about being involved in the
he was a member of the KKK. I knew that from years ago.
But was he involved in the Morse Ford?
I can't say for sure because he never did come out.
What about the Malcolms?
The Malcolms, my uncle hung around them and everything. That one
Saying
man,
Charlie Pepper hung around them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He could go hunting over there on that land.
And did you ever hear of any of the Malcolms being involved in this?
They were supposed to be involved.
Okay. All right. Is Jack Malcolm the one that's still alive? Did you have it on your list?
One of them died.
Who was that again?
The Malcolms.
The brothers. There are two. Well, they might be dead now because one of them died. I saw one at the post office right after I met with you. He told me I better keep my mouth shut.
But Mr. Howard, you said that you were focused on the Malcolms. Which Malcolms are you focused on?
Ralph now.
Ralph?
Yeah. One of them died. That might be one of them still alive. One of them supposed to be dead.
All right. But
you, one of them told me I better keep my mouth shut right after I met with Mr. Howard.
I got you. And from your understanding, the Malcolms were involved.
Right.
All right. All right. All right. I think we got an exhaustive list. As exhaustive as we're going to get. So, sir, thank you very much.
But when I get my head together, I can remember a lot.